Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to my sessions on company final accounts. Dear students, today I am going to present a very important topic, preparation of statement of profit and loss and statement of assets and liabilities of company with the managerial remuneration adjustments. Dear students, session outlines for this current session, the provisions relating to managerial remuneration, net profit for managerial remuneration, effective capital, the treatment of managerial remuneration while preparing company final accounts. Keynotes on managerial remuneration. Managerial remuneration is payable to managerial persons like the whole-time or part-time directors, managing directors or managers. The most important keynote here is managerial remuneration is paid on net profit of the company in some percentage, and if net profit is not adequate, it is paid on effective capital of the company. Dear students, based on this point, let me elaborate what is the amount of remuneration payable to the managerial remuneration on net profit. So there is a provision of Companies Act related to this. Here, managerial remuneration on net profit can be calculated like this. There are three criteria. One is overall limit for total remuneration is L1%. Then secondly, remuneration of managerial personnel other than part-time director. It means in this case there is no any part-time director. Then if only one managerial person is there, then we have to pay 5% of the net profit as remuneration. And if there is more than one managerial person, we have to pay maximum managerial remuneration as 10% of net profit. And in case of third criteria, the remuneration of part-time directors, if there is no manager or whole-time director, then we have to pay 3% of profit as a remuneration to that part-time directors. And if there is a manager or whole-time director, then only 1% of the net profit is to be paid as a managerial remuneration. So dear student, you can observe here in this case, if there is a manager or whole-time director, only 1% is to be paid to the part-time director. And in this case here, if there is more than one managerial personnel, maximum 10%. This 10% and plus this 1%, if both the categories are there, then that is managerial personnel as well, that's full-time managers as well as part-time directors is there in the company, then 10 plus 1 equal to 11%. The maximum percentage of net profit is to be payable as a managerial remuneration to the managers or the managerial personnels, right? Then dear students, based on this, now we have to go for how to calculate the net profit for managerial remuneration. Here, computation of net profit for managerial remuneration. First of all, we have to take the net profit or loss as per the statement of profit and loss account at the top, and to that we have to add the disallowable expenses. The disallowable expenses here are proposed dividend, tax on dividend, income tax, provision for doubtful debts, capital expenditures, capital leases, then that is voluntary payment of compensation, excess depreciation as per IT rules, and managerial remuneration paid or payable to the managerial personnels. So these are the items of expenses which may be recorded in the statement of profit or loss. But now, for the sake of computation of net profit for managerial remuneration, we have to add back those things. And after that, we have to disallow some incomes like premium on sales and debentures, profit on sale of profited shares, excess provision for doubtful debts, and capital profits. Then after the subtraction of these disallowable incomes, we will get profit for the purpose of managerial remuneration. So now, like this, we have to compute the net profit for managerial remuneration. And like this, we have another part. If there is no sufficient or the adequate net profit available in the company to pay managerial remuneration as per the rate fixed by the Companies Act 2013, then we have to follow the second criteria, that is the effective capital. The effective capital, on the basis of that, managerial remuneration can be paid like this. Here, if the effective capital is less than 5 crore, then we can pay maximum remuneration of 60 lakhs. And if effective capital is more than 5 crore but not more than 100 crore, then we have to pay 84 lakh maximum of remuneration. Then if the effective capital is rupees 1 crore or more but less than rupees 250 crore, then we have to pay the maximum remuneration of rupees 120 lakh. And if the effective capital is rupees 250 crore or more, then we have to pay maximum remuneration as 120 lakh plus 0.01% of the effective capital in excess of rupees 250 crore. In this way, we have the fixed rate or the amount of maximum remuneration to be payable on the basis of effective capital if there is inadequate net profit. And how to calculate this effective capital is also very important, and for that purpose we have a format or the procedure like this. In order to compute the effective capital, first of all we have to take the paid up share capital, and to that we have to add up the securities premium, reserves and surplus, excluding revaluation reserve. Is very important. We cannot take the revaluation reserve under this head. And likewise the long-term loans and deposits payable after 1 year is also to be taken, and the total is to be summed, and from that we have to deduct some of the items of that. One is investments, then next is accumulated losses, and likewise preliminary expenses are not written off. So these items are to be subtracted, then whatever the balance arises, that balance is called as the effective capital. And based on this effective capital, we have to fix the managerial remuneration on the basis of effective capital if there is inadequate amount of net profit in the company. So dear students, based on that background knowledge about the managerial remuneration, now let me go for a solution of one problem in order to prepare the final accounts in a prescribed form. So here the information is given about the Anand Company Limited. So here it is at the left hand side we have some of the informations about the expenses and assets, and at the right hand side we have the informations about the capital, liabilities and even the incomes, and at the end we have other informations also. And based on this we have to prepare the notes to statement of accounts, as well as then we have to go for preparing the statement of assets and liabilities and statement of profit and loss. And before doing all those things, first of all our work is to bifurcate or sort the items as per their head, and based on that we have to prepare the notes. And for sorting purpose, let me go for the sorting of those things. Here first of all we can sort the informations in this way. Here premises at cost, it is a tangible fixed asset. Machinery is also tangible fixed asset. Administrative expenses is an other expenses. Rent, rate and taxes is also other expenses. Investment and sales is a long-term investment. Cost of materials consumed is clearly given the head. A stock on 31st March 2019 is nothing but opening stock. It is to be taken under the head cost of material, changes in inventories. And a cash in hand, cash at bank are the items of cash and cash equivalents note. And sundry debtors is a trade receivable. Audit fees is a other expenses. Managerial remuneration is related to the employee benefit expenses. The income tax deducted on dividend is other current asset. Then director sitting fees is an item of employees benefit expenses, and sundry expenses is an item of note other expenses. Now come to the right hand side. Here the authorized and subscribed capital is given. Preferences, equity shares are given. So these are nothing but the share capital items. Then provision for depreciation up to 31st March 2019 on premises and on machinery is given. This is the accumulated amount of depreciation at the opening of the accounting year. It is to be considered while computing the depreciation and while working out about the tangible fixed assets. And sales, it is an item of revenue from operations. Then general reserve is an item of reserve and surplus, and even dividend and equalization reserve is also reserve and surplus item. Sundry debtors is a trade payable. Surplus is a reserve and surplus item. Miscellaneous receipts and dividend on sales gross is these are the items of other incomes. Now let me express about the other informations. Here the provide depreciation on premises and machinery at 10% each on written down value. So here it is an adjustment related to the depreciation. This is to be effected twice, once in the statement of assets and liabilities and again in the statement of profit and loss. In statement of profit and loss, we have to take under the note depreciation and amortization, and in statement of assets and liabilities, we have to take in the tangible fixed assets. And about managing director is entitled to remuneration at 5% on net profit. It is an item of employees benefit expenses, and it is also to be taken in the assets and liability statement under the head short-term provisions. And likewise, transfer rupees 17,500 to general reserve and rupees 5,000 to dividend equalization reserve. These are to be adjusted in the reserve and surplus note twice, once for the appropriation and another time for adding that to the reserves, respective reserves. Then provision for income tax rupees 57,000 is there. These are to be adjusted in tax expenses of the statement of profit and loss, and again it's to be adjusted in the note short term provisions of statement of assets and liabilities. So based on these informations, now we can be able to prepare the notes to statement of profit and loss, and then we can go to the statement of assets and liabilities notes. First of all, everything is there with you in the study materials. You can refer that, and based on that, let me explain how we have taken those items. So whatever the amounts are taken here are totally based on the segregation made in the last slide. So here the revenue from operation, here the sale is given in the trial balance, that is to be taken. Only one item is there for in the head revenue from operation. Then in other income we have two items, one is miscellaneous receipt and another is dividend on sales received, that is to be taken here. And in cost of materials consumed, directly information is given in the trial balance, and that is to be taken. Then employees benefit cost, there are two important information. One is director sitting fees and another is the managing director remuneration. This is not given in the trial balance but given in the adjustment, and for this purpose we have to go for a working note after completing all these except this item. So let me go for the next one before completing this employee benefit cost item. Depreciation and amortization, as expressed in the additional information, depreciation on machinery premises is 10% and on machinery is 10%. So those are to be taken like this. Here 2 lakh the cost price of the premises. From that we have to deduct 50,000 opening balance, that is accumulated balance of the depreciation, and from that we have got the balance of 1,50,000 at the beginning of the year, and on that we have to charge 10% depreciation as per the adjustment. And like that, the same way we have to do that charging of depreciation on machinery also. Then other expenses, there are 4 important items given in the trial balance about these: administrative expenses, rent, rates, taxes, audit fees and sundry expenses. All these are to be extracted from the trial balance. And now we can go for the tax expense. Here the provision for income tax is given in the adjustment, and that is to be taken here with 57,000. And based on this notes, now we can work out about the MD remuneration. So about the managerial director's remuneration, we have to go for a working note. Here calculation of profit for managing director remuneration. So revenue from operation is 12 lakh, just we have found in the note. Other income is to be taken, then total revenue. Then from that we have to deduct all the expenses except MD remuneration. So then we will get the profit for MD remuneration, and on this profit we have to charge the remuneration at 5% of net profit. Then we will get rupees 7,500 as managing director's remuneration, and this is to be taken under this note here, and by that we can close this note, and the total is rupees 10,500. And like this we have to go for the notes to accounts of statement of assets and liabilities. Here share capital, so both the share capitals are to be taken here. Then reserve and surplus, general reserve is to be taken. To that we have an adjustment, that is a transfer from surplus. Then even dividend equalization reserve opening and is to be taken, and to that we have to add the transfer from surplus. Then we will get these amounts, and now we have to appropriate these 2 transfers as per the adjustment. So last year profit is to be taken first, and then we have to take the current year profit. From these 2 items we have to make the appropriation. One is going to general reserve and another is going to dividend equalization reserve. Then we get the balance of reserve and surplus as rupees 1,22,500 and the trade payable is rupees 18,000. Only one item is given in the trial balance, that is sundry creditors. And like this, now we have to go for the next item, that is short-term provision. As per the additional information, 57,000 is the provision for tax. And next item, the other current liabilities is here. This amount is to be taken from trial balance as well as from the adjustment. In the trial balance, they were given 5,000, but as per adjustment, we got 7,500. There is a difference of rupees. The balance of outstanding managing director's remuneration is rupees 2,500 is to be taken to the statement of assets and liabilities under the head other current liabilities. Then the next is tangible assets. In the trial balance, they were given the information about the premises and machinery at cost, as well as they are also provided the information about the accumulated provision for depreciation up to 31st March 2019. So in this case, first of all, we have to take the cost price of the assets here 2 lakh and the machinery is 10 lakh. And from these, we have to deduct the accumulated provision for depreciation. Here for premises it is 50,000 and in case of machinery it is 25,000. Then we have got the balance, and from that balance we have to subtract the depreciation for the current year. That is in case of premises it is 15,000 and in case of machinery it is 7,500. And now we will get the balances of premises and the machinery, and the total will be rupees 2,02,500. And next is non-current investment. As far as the non-current investment is concerned, only one item is given in the trial balance, that is about investment in shares, and it's amounted to rupees 10 lakh, and that is to be taken to the statement of assets and liabilities. Then the next important item after the non-current investment is the inventories. So about it, only stock information is given in the adjustment, that is closing stock of inventories rupees 1,25,000, and trade receivables is having one item, that is the debtors rupees 58,000. And then we have to go for the cash and cash equivalents, and under cash and cash equivalents we have two items. One is cash in hand and another is cash at bank. And then we have to go for other current assets, and there only we are having only one item, that is tax deducted at source rupees 500. And then after all these, we have to go for the most important part of this session, that is preparation of statement of profit and loss as prescribed by the Companies Act 2013. As per the Companies Act provisions, first of all at the top we have to write the schedule 3, then below that part 2, under that we have to write the name of the company, here the Anand Company Limited, and below that we have to write the statement of profit and loss for the year ending 31st March 2020. And now our work start based on the proforma given by the schedule 3 part 2 of Companies Act 2013. And the first item to be taken here is about the continuing operations. About continuing operations, there is an item revenue from operation. The total, just we got it from the note, it is amounted to rupees 12 lakh, and to that we have to add the other income rupees 7,500 as per note number 2. Then we will get the total of rupees 12 lakh 7,500, and this is called as the total revenue and it is quoted as A. And from this total revenue A, we have to subtract the expenses. Here the expenses are cost of materials, then employees benefit cost, then depreciation and amortization, and we have other expenses. So only 4 items are available as per the notes as given in the trial balance, and the respective heads amount of total balances are to be taken. Here the cost of metal consumed is rupees 10 lakh, and employees benefit cost is 10,500, and depreciation and amortization is amounted to rupees 22,500, and other expenses total is rupees 32,000. The total expenses is rupees 10 lakh 65,000, which is called as total expenses, and it is quoted as B. And the total is subtracted from the total revenue A, and we will get the profit before tax rupees 1,42,500. So in this problem there is no any information about the exceptional items and extraordinary items. So just if there is no any information, leave it aside and go ahead for the next item. So in this problem they're given about the tax expenses. So tax expenses is 57,000, that is to be deducted from profit before tax, and we will get profit after tax, that is rupees 85,500. Dear students, like this we have also to be prepared the statement of assets and liabilities as per the format prescribed by the Companies Act 2013. At the top we have to write Schedule 3 Part 1. Then below that we have to write the name of the company, here in this case Anand Company Limited, and below that we have to write the statement of assets and liabilities as at 31st March 2020. And here, as per the prescribed format of the Companies Act 2013, I have taken all the items and just we have to insert the note number, amount and the totals. Here the first component of this statement of assets and liabilities is equities and liabilities. Under that the first item is shareholders funds. So shareholders fund usually have three items: share capital, reserve and surplus, and money received against the share warrants. But in this problem there is no any information available regarding the money received against the share warrants, so just leave it aside and go ahead for the next item. So the amount available as per the notes for the share capital and reserves are to be taken here, and the total is taken to the outer column. Then we have to go for the non-current before that we have to take the share application money pending allotment, but there is no any information about that also, just leave it. Then next item is non-current liabilities, but in this problem there is not any single information related to the non-current liabilities. Then now we can go to the current liabilities. As far as the current liabilities are concerned, there are three notes are available. One is trade payables, then short-term provisions, and other current liabilities. In these current liabilities group also one item is missing, that is short-term borrowings. So that is not given in the problem. So if it is not there, then no worry about the item given in the format. Just go ahead for whatever the information is given. Then the amount available as per the notes are to be taken to the amount column, and the total is to be taken later to the outer column. Then the total of shareholders fund and current liabilities is rupees 5,50,000. This is the total of equity and liabilities. And now we have to go for the next part of this statement, that is the asset part. In asset part we are having two components. One is non-current asset and another is current asset. In non-current assets we have two items here, that is fixed assets. Under that we have tangible asset, and for that we have did note number 6, and the balance available is 2,02,500, and there is no any intangible fixed asset also. Even there is no any tangible work in progress, and there is no even any information about the intangible asset under development. So leave it. Then go ahead for the next item. There is no non-current investment. It is amounted to 1 lakh. That is taken to the outer column, and the total is 3,02,500. After that we can go for the second component of the asset, that is current asset. Here we are having totally 6 heads are available, but in the problem they provided information only for 4 notes. One is inventories, secondly trade receivables, then cash and cash equivalents, and other current assets. So as per the notes, just we have to take the amount, just we have to extract it from the notes, and the total is rupees 2,47,500 for the current assets, and the total of non-current assets and current assets is to be added, that is rupees 5,50,000, which is called as the total of assets. And based on these informations you can do any type of adjustments. So just you have to follow the provisions of the Companies Act. There is a special provisions of the Companies Act 2013, and you should have a complete idea about the each and every notes relevant to the statement of assets and liabilities, as well as for the statement of profit and loss. And you should have also the complete idea about the format of a statement of assets and liabilities and statement of profit and loss as per Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. So dear students, during this session I have discussed about treatment of managerial remuneration, computation of net profit per managerial remuneration, computation of effective capital, then preparation of final accounts with the adjustment of managerial remuneration. And dear students, these are my references. You may also go through these references. Thank you.